Hi everyone, thanks for joining us again. Today we will be making turkey pot pies, individual sized. Thanksgiving is coming up and I must admit I'm not a huge fan of the turkey. Okay, don't get me wrong, I usually order the turkey leg at a carnival or county fair. I'm sharing it. I do love the deep fried turkey wings. Well, rather, like. Love is a very strong word. However, I do have a recipe I really enjoy making and eating. With this being the crazy Corona year, there may not be a lot of huge family Thanksgiving get-togethers. So this is a great way to still enjoy your turkey if you don't want to have to purchase a whole one. And if you're watching this after Thanksgiving, well, you can use those leftovers to make the same recipe. Today's recipe, we're going to start out with our filling. 4 tablespoons of melted butter. I've got that melting in here right now. Turn that up a little bit. To the melted butter, we are going to add about 3/4 of a cup of onions, and we're going to get those sauteed before we add our vegetables. Now, in this recipe, I am using canned vegetables. If you plan on using fresh vegetables, you're going to want to give them about 6 to 7 minutes sauteing in the melted butter before you add your spices. Okay? Now, you can use whatever vegetables you want. I'm using just over a pound of pound of turkey, cubed and pre-cooked. So I'm going to use about a cup, almost a cup of each vegetable, and try to keep it to about 3 vegetables. This case I am using corn, carrots, and green beans because it's Thanksgiving, but feel free to use any vegetables that you and your family like. Now, to the sauteed onions and vegetables that have softened, you're going to want to add about 1.5 teaspoon of minced garlic, a teaspoon of fresh rosemary chopped really fine, teaspoon of sage and thyme chopped really, really fine also, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of ground black pepper, and make it a little spicy. You can add a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. Now, because I said I'm using canned vegetables, it will not take as long for them to soften. And as soon as that's done, well, go ahead and sprinkle your flour. 1/4 cup of gluten-free. Today we're using Bob's Red Mill, the 1-to-1 baking flour. After you put the flour in, you can go ahead and add your turkey. Someone's trying to escape. Going to want to add to that 1 cup of turkey stock and 1 cup of half and half. I use the entire cup of half and half. You can, gauge it for yourself where you like it. After you've added the turkey stock, half and half, just stir constantly, cooking the sauce until it thickens for about 3 to 4 minutes. Then you can remove it from the heat, and if you've decided to use any frozen peas, at this time you would put them in after you've taken it off of the heat. Otherwise your peas may become really mushy. We're not using peas in this recipe today, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay guys, well, we've taken it off of the heat. We're going to let it cool, and in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and make our pie crust. The specific recipe I'm using today, it will be linked below, is from Bob's Red Mill, and the way they are making it is biscuit style, where they make a biscuit that you put on top of the pot pie mixture inside of ramekin. Of course, I changed the recipe, so I will actually be rolling out my dough and laying it inside of the ramekins that we're using today. Well, while we are waiting for our filling to cool, make sure you taste test it and adjust your seasoning if you need more salt or anything like that. We can go ahead and start working on the filling. I don't know if I had said that I would be using the Bob's Red Mill gluten-free or not, but that one is too much biscuit, and I am using a different recipe for the crust that also will be linked down below. For our crust dough, we will be using 3 cups of your gluten-free flour, 2 sticks of very cold butter. You're going to reserve 8 to 10 tablespoons of milk, and omit salt if your butter has salt, which mine does. And you're going to add some xanthan gum unless your gluten-free flour mix already has it, then you don't have to add it, which mine does not. So I put that in there. We're going to give it a quick whisk. And as we turn on the mixer, we're going to start adding the butter first until it gets nice and crumbly. You know, just not like breadcrumbs. You want the pieces just a bit smaller. Just a bit bigger than, you know, breadcrumbs. Just a crumbly look. Gets a bit loud. So we'll fast forward. Once you've got it all combined, you can go ahead and use your hands the rest of the way to just form a big dough ball. Then what you're going to want to do is separate that dough ball into 2 pieces. We're going to put it into the refrigerator to let it chill for a little while, and then come back out and start rolling. We're going to roll the pie crusts into a small circle that we can roll into larger circles once they've been cut and fitted inside of the ramekins. Here's our first dough ball. Okay, like I said, we're going to take this ball and separate it into 2. Okay. And put these 2 into the refrigerator so that they can chill for a while before rolling them out. It's just a little trick that I've picked up along the way. It really seems to work. So I'll see you guys in about 10-15 minutes. It's been about 10-15 minutes, and our dough ball is nicely chilled. After you've washed your hands, just put it in between wax paper, and you can press down on it a few times if you want. This thing. Are you ready to roll? So just roll and turn and roll, turn and roll. You can roll it towards you or away from you, whatever. Not thin enough yet. And don't forget to preheat your oven before you start rolling your dough. That looks really nice. See how thin that is? That's what you want. Okay. The alternative to doing it this thin on the first roll is to not make it this thin. Cut your circles smaller and then roll those circles into a larger circle and put draped inside of your ramekin. Make sure you give it a good spray. Don't forget your shape former. Obviously, this is not the same size as this. So I just use this to roll a larger circle than what I think I need. And let's see if it fits. Okay, well that's good for a bottom. So I will have to make it larger. If it starts ripping, then it's too thin. So let's go a little bit from here. There. There. Okay. That's a little better. you can just literally take this and press it right on into the side of the pan and create the top part of your, or the side of your pot pie. And if you don't have a shape former, just rip it. Let's spray our pan. Yeah. This one, we're just going to rip it right in along there. Let's see if we can get you right there. Not perfect. And it goes right in. Just use your finger, push everything together. I thank you all so much for watching my video. If you like it, please hit the like button below. If you'd like to see more, then subscribe and you'll be notified every time I upload a fresh video. Again, don't worry if it's not perfectly all the way at the top. We still have the top of these to be made. Get a fork and just give everybody a quick little prick along the bottom, just to allow for air to escape so your crust doesn't crack or steam or bubble up. There we go. A couple along the side. A little bit harder than I meant to. It's okay. There we go. If you want, you can, you know, it's quick. There. Now these are ready to go into the oven. That's how I do my pot pies. I bake the lower part of the crust because they're gluten-free. The dough tends to be a little bit mushier than glutinous dough. So if you have a nice bake on the bottom of your pie first, it tastes really nice and you have a little crunch at the bottom when you put your filling inside and eat it. We'll put these into the oven now at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we'll start checking on them to see if they're golden brown or not. at 5-minute intervals. We'll see you when they're baked. You'll know when they're baked when you see the nice crispy crust and it has brown edges. And now we have our second dough ball. Okay, we're going to put you between the wax paper, flatten you out a little bit, and you can start rolling.
And with this dough ball that we've flattened or rolled out, we'll be cutting the circles for the tops of the turkey pot pies. It's still thick, so what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to cut my circles and then roll them into thinner circles and drape over the turkey pot pie ramekins. If you have leftover dough, then you can just freeze it.
And we're back. Our pies, well, the bottom of the pot pies have baked and cooled.
Don't try this while they're still hot. You see they've pulled away from the inside of the ramekin, so you know they're done. And you have all different degrees of doneness here. And it's all okay, doesn't matter. And we have our top right here. So all that's missing is our filling. Why don't we get the filling right now? Our filling has cooled and we're ready to start scooping it in. Make sure everybody gets filled to the top. Some more carrots and another piece. Right there. Don't those look good? Now, just take your top and stretch it. Oh, don't break it. But you want to just put it right onto that one. Uh-oh, broke that one. Huh. There we go. Just press it right back in. They are a bit delicate. Okay. And you can press it right into the one that's already, you know, partially baked. And again, get a fork, give a few quick pokes to let the steam escape. There we go.
If you want, you can give a quick spray on top with some oil and put them into the oven again at between 350 to 375 for actually only about 10 minutes this time, and take a look at them. We'll see you in about 10 minutes. The first two have just made it out of the oven and they are cool. Again, don't try this if they're still hot. They smell so good. So I guess all we have to do now is take it out of the ramekin, plate it, and taste it.
That's not the best way to do that. But it came out. You can hear the crust is so crunchy. Ooh. Ooh. I'm not cutting this anymore. I'm just going to bite right into it. Mmm.
Oh, that is so good. I don't know about you, but Thanksgiving will be really awesome if I get to eat one of these. After Thanksgiving will be really awesome if I get to eat one of these. Until next time.